And now, ladies and gentlemen, the champion fighting out of the red corner, a martial arts veteran of 24 years. He is now 27 years old. He has a full contact karate record of 42 wins and has scored 24 of his victories by knockout. He is the undisputed light heavyweight champion of the world. Here is the Jet, Rick Roufus.
Rick Roufus is a name that has forever entered the history of martial arts. His speed, precision, and unique style made him one of the most recognizable fighters of his time.
I think it's time for me to move up to heavyweight, take on the ultimate Mike Tyson of kickboxing, and Dennis the Terminator, Alexio.
In this video, we'll trace the journey of this legend, from his first fights to his greatest victories, and the tough challenges that made him an icon of kickboxing. Are you ready to discover how Rick Roufus conquered the ring and the hearts of his fans? Let's begin. In the spring of 1985, Rick Roufus had his first professional fight against Mike Winkeljohn. Before Mike became a renowned MMA coach, he was an experienced kickboxer, tough, technical, and strategic in his bouts. His ability to adapt and his high fight IQ were key components of his success. Rick entered the ring wearing his signature red pants, while Mike was dressed in blue. The fight went the distance, and Rick Roufus secured his first victory in the professional ring. In the summer of 1985, a middleweight match took place between Rick Roufus, a 19-year-old from Milwaukee, Wisconsin wearing red, and U.C. Owens, a 33-year-old from Davenport, Iowa, in black. The fight was scheduled for 5 rounds. As the fight progresses, Roufus seems to gain control, showing better timing and energy. His youth and relaxed style contrast with Owens' more intense approach. Roufus demonstrates a variety of techniques, including spinning kicks and sweeps, which are unusual in kickboxing but effective in this match. By the 4th round, Roufus has largely taken control of the fight, though Owens continues to put up a strong resistance. The fight went the full 5 rounds, with Roufus securing another victory by judges' decision. In November 1985, Rick Roufus entered the ring against Gerald Murphy, a 30-year-old favorite from Daytona Beach, who had a record of 7-1. The commentators noted the tension between the fighters, with Roufus stating he would make Murphy respect him. The fight begins, and Roufus quickly demonstrates his skill by knocking Murphy down with a left hand in the first round.
Herb, this is what we've been talking about.
The fight ends abruptly when Roufus lands a devastating combination, a round kick to the body, followed immediately by a left hand, knocking Murphy out.
And out it is over. 13-year-old Rick Roufus, what a show. He's got it all.
In April 1986, Rick Roufus stepped into the ring against Tony Smith at the Karate Mania 1 tournament.
I would use my arms. Well, he went after the big one that time.
Roufus confidently controlled the fight, ending it early in the 2nd round with a knockout. His victory was spectacular and convincing, with Rick stating that his years of experience allowed him to combine strikes with ease and confidence. This triumph became a significant milestone on his path to winning the U.S. Championship title and later the World Championship at the Karate Mania 2 tournament.
Rick the Jet Roufus.
Well, since doing it since I was 5 years old, putting the kicks and punches together has become a little more easier.
November 1986, a kickboxing match between Rick Roufus and Richard Lopez for the U.S. Middleweight Championship title.
One of his most effective tools in this fight. There's a good left uppercut. There's a good connection. Left round kick caught the right side of Lopez. There's that overhand left.
Rick Roufus, the defending champion, dominated the fight from start to finish, showcasing his superior skills and techniques.
And I signed every picture that I'd ever been in every karate magazine, man, will be the champion.
Roufus displays his unique ability to kick his opponent's head while maintaining perfect posture. Lopez, despite his efforts, was largely ineffective throughout the fight. The match went the full 9 rounds, with Roufus winning by unanimous decision.
Your objective in that Frito-Lay fight was to fight for the North American light middleweight title. Light middleweight is going to be your division, and Bob Thurman, you've said, is your target.
Yes, I probably see us getting together with Johnny Davis, Martin Frito-Lay, and then ending out with the dream being world light middleweight title against Bob Thunder Thurman.
March 1986. A kickboxing match took place between Rick Roufus and Jordan Keepers. The fight serves as a tune-up for Roufus before his upcoming world title match against John Moncayo.
And if you've never seen Rick Roufus, this might be your first time seeing him in action.
He will take over for the Jean-Yves Thériault when they move on.
Wipe him off.
The hard part. See, you don't know which way is going.
Kept Keepers honest anyway.
And their heads just collided.
We're into round 2. Rick Roufus in the red pants, the right of your screen, and Jordan Keepers black pants with the bright color piping. Roufus puts a good combination of kicks together here early in round 2.
Roufus dominates most of the fight, although Keepers lands some solid punches in the second round, causing a swelling under Roufus's left eye.
He's going to have to get out of there, and he fights and kicks his way out. There's a good right hand by Keepers again, and a nice uppercut. Between rounds, and maybe rightly so.
Well, I would have thought they would have put some ice on his, call it a tune-up fight at this point, because against Moncayo, he's going to be putting up with this kind of pressure.
Direction, that's what Keepers has in mind, but of course Rick Roufus.
A lot out of Keepers. Look how heavy his legs are. Keepers' right bicep will be looking after you guys.
By Roufus, and again he continues to circle. Good footwork, and the front kick again backs Keepers away. And Roufus going to work on offense.
He'll stand still long enough for me to unload on. The athletic skill required there is almost as great as that required.
In the 5th round, Roufus knocks down Keepers with a left cross.
His face, Rick Roufus to the neutral corner.
Earlier, Rick was going to bring him in and into it, but he got him. Got him in.
Now let's see if Roufus goes in for the kill. It appears that's going to be the case. Roufus, spinning heel kick. Keepers is hurt. Uppercut.
The fight goes a full 6 rounds, with Roufus winning by unanimous decision.
About 60 to 53.5, your winner by unanimous decision, Rick the Jet Roufus.
We didn't want to get in the habit of standing here and duking for the upcoming fight against John Moncayo.
Now let's talk about Moncayo just for a quick second. He's got a lot of fights. He's got more than 65 fights. You're going to go in against him now at 16-0. Do you think the experience will make any difference at all to you there?
No, it's a matter of who's got more heart and who wants the title and who wants to keep on to it. Because I'm there, John, and I want that title. That's my dream.
In the spring of 1987, Rick Roufus stepped into the ring against John Moncayo in a fight for the Super Middleweight Championship.
Every time he throws the kick, giving away the fact that he's kicking and not punching, allowing Roufus to prepare for it, defend kicking. Roufus took advantage for that counter punch. Now on the rope. That's where...
In the first 3 rounds, Moncayo tried to apply pressure, but Roufus responded with precise counterattacks and excellent defensive moves.
Moncayo hurt a bit. He hurt Moncayo with that Did you feel that way or not?
Well, I thought because of that Rick back kick on Rick Roufus' part.
And a good right-left combination.
By the fourth round, Roufus began to take control with accurate counterpunching and well-executed combinations.
I kind of get the feeling...
The fight ended in the seventh round when Roufus delivered a decisive left hook that knocked out Moncayo, making him the new super middleweight champion at just 20 years old. In the fall of 1987, a fight took place between Rick Roufus and Manson Gibson. Both fighters were renowned for their skill and showmanship in the ring. The match was intense, with momentum shifting back and forth, but ultimately the fight went the distance and Roufus emerged victorious. In January 1988, the first fight took place between Rick Roufus and William Knorr. Roufus entered the ring wearing his signature red pants. The fight didn't last long, and Rick knocked out his opponent with a left high kick in the third round. In the summer of 1988, Rick Roufus entered the ring against Chris Getz. The commentators note Roufus's deceptive power and relaxed demeanor. Getz struggles to close the distance on Roufus, who uses a front leg side kick effectively.
That not that many people use very effectively. The ones that
Roufus delivers a left kick to the body, followed by a left hook, leaving Getz stunned.
Hand over the top and Getz is stunned. Where did it come from? I don't know. His legs look wobbly. No.
Oh, he's still very wobbly.
Despite Getz's attempts to recover, Roufus continues to dominate with his striking, ultimately leading to a knockout victory.
He is game. He gets up. The baseman says not saved by the bell. It's over. Rick Roufus barely works up a sweat. He has the...
In November 1988, Rick Roufus and Mike Steele met in the ring.
Mike Badman Steele, very powerful.
Rick, the ISKA United States champion, knocked out Mike in just 1 minute and 15 seconds of the first round.
Well, Rick, I think they're going to have to change your name to Rip the Zap. You know, it seems like they're going to start having to pay you by the round to get any time up here.
Well, you know I make it hard for you guys because now you have to somehow fix the show. I'm sorry, it happens that way. This is my business. I don't take chances, and I enjoy doing my business, so I want to stay happy and healthy.
Until the advent of the UFC, it was difficult to determine which martial arts system was the most effective. But in 1988, there was a very significant event for the whole world of martial arts. An unbeaten champion kickboxer, Rick Roufus, who had a record of 28-0 and was considered one of the best fighters of the time, decided to prove that American kickboxing was superior to Thai boxing and claimed that a Thai fighter would stand no chance against him. His rival was Changpuek. Kiatsongrit was one of the first fighters to travel outside of Thailand and prove Thai boxing to the world.
anybody come at him under any circumstances.
As we're just about ready. Now these will be 3-minute rounds with a 1-minute break, Josh.
That's my understanding, yes.
Round number 1. And Roufus
In the first round, Roufus began with an aggressive start and was very fast on his feet. He throws a series of blows, then retreats out of the line of fire, although the Thai hits him with a low kick.
One in the ribs there that I guarantee you, his family back in Thailand. A right and a left by Roufus. Roufus moving around very well.
As we can see, Changpuek works in the left stance, which means that Roufus's right leg is in great danger. Rick inflicts a lot of punches, and Changpuek seems to have put a big bet on the fact that the American will be vulnerable to a low kick.
Beautifully here, and Kiatsongrit, quite frankly, John, looks to me a little bit confused. Now that one landed.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said there.
Does Kiatsongrit look confused to you in there?
He looks to me like, and he has been stung a couple times. He's felt a lot of the power of Rick Roufus.
Halfway through this first round, these are 3-minute rounds with a 1-minute break. And as you can hear, the crowd is very, very into this. It's sort of evenly divided. The Thai contingent rooting for the Thai fighter. Everybody else being cautious, keeping track of the distance. The Thai fighter beginning to be a little bit more aggressive. His name is Kiatsongrit. He took a left hand there, and he's down. Rick Roufus landed a left on the jaw, and the Thai fighter...
The first knockdown. But the fighter gets to his feet and then immediately flies into a second knockdown.
Hits him again and knocks him down. Kiatsongrit is down again, and you can see his eyes are a little glassy, John. Trying to hold on to do it. Roufus does not want to let him have it. Roufus is getting inside of those kicks, and he is landing the big punches. And Kiatsongrit has never come across this kind of power, I don't think.
Roufus doing a great job of keeping the pressure on, but Kiatsongrit showing tremendous heart to stay in there. After being knocked down twice, he's fighting back on courage and on instinct.
It seems that Rick decided to finish his opponent in the first round, but Chang managed to survive, and the fight moved on to the second round.
At the end of that round, and you'd have to say that's about as good as you're going to do against a guy you've never seen fight like this before, Rick Roufus.
He comes across with a kick, follows up over the top with a straight left right there, and you can see Kiatsongrit's knees go out from under him, and he goes back into the ropes. That was a hard shot. A right hook that misses, a left straight shot that comes straight through, and you can see crossed his eyes.
Yep. Something you pretty much have to do in that situation, don't you, John? Pats Kiatsongrit.
In the second round, the low kicks from Chang continued to crash into Rick's right leg, who was starting to feel the pain.
Away from a lot of
he's moving in, attacking the body and moving away. There's an attack to the knee.
Roufus's knee. There's a left hand over the top and another left, and Roufus is inside. Badly hurt, but he is aware that he's being hit. Once again, Kiatsongrit lands a good kick on the back of Roufus.
In the middle of the round, it becomes noticeable that for Roufus, the low kicks are starting to become a real problem, and he is having trouble evading them. Chang successfully uses his plan for the fight, which was to destroy Roufus's leg.
Rick Roufus having to move away from those powerful kicks to the legs.
Now again, Rick Roufus tying up there as we're halfway through round number 2. Lands a right, a round kick, and a right and a left from Roufus. Roufus needs to end this one fast, and he lands the left. And Roufus is throwing everything from Iowa. Roufus is throwing the big leather. Kiatsongrit has heart, no doubt about it. 1 minute left in this round.
In a Thai fight, oh no, Rick Roufus was stomped when he was down.
Now you wonder about that. I'm not sure. The referee is calling time. I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
And here comes the knockdown from Chang, who acted rather unsportsmanlike by stepping on the American while he was down.
About 30 seconds left here in round 2, John.
Rick Roufus trying to finish this thing with a knockout, getting those legs kicked. He's trying to land again the left hand.
Good spinning back fist by Roufus that landed and shook Kiatsongrit up.
At the end of the round, Rick makes contact with Chang's head, but this did not stop the stream of low kicks that the Thai had intended for the American.
Rick Roufus again, an American fighter, not used to these rules in the long red pants. Kiatsongrit is not used to being hit. coming in, Kiatsongrit, a tough young man. Roufus has hurt him a lot, and he's still there. Roufus taking a lot of stuff on his legs.
He said Kiatsongrit go down at the very end of those punches. He's not really
in the kick. Roufus drops one hand down to block the kick. Throws a punch as he is fighting from the right side. Comes up with a good uppercut into the ribs.
In the third round, it became clear that the Thai had the opportunity to win. Chang pursues Rick and continues to strike him with ruthless blows.
Landing those punches, but they're too far extended to really have a lot of sting on.
And he's also not able to get a rotation of his hips to throw the punch, John, because
his legs are obviously bothering him. He's really having a problem.
Now there's a throw by Kiatsongrit, which under normal circumstances is legal. Roufus with a good kick into the ribs. This isn't being just a little bit too brave here. He doesn't really have much to lose in this thing. He ought to just forget it right now if his legs... Listen, we're talking about a potential world champion here. And you just wonder...
In round 4, Rick starts avoiding his opponent because he can no longer take the blows to his leg that are causing him a lot of pain.
Rick Roufus now trying to keep away from the legs of Kiatsongrit, and probably his safest haven is hit him. And Roufus is hurt now. He tried to spin fist there. They really should. This is a case of Rick wanting to be too honorable here. This is an exhibition fight.
He's really taking a chance on suffering some permanent injury.
If he's going to stay, John, he just ought to get right up on the guy and let him have it. Otherwise, he's...
Kiatsongrit looking very, very strong now. Just obviously extremely aggressively coming in with those leg kicks.
Well, he knows clearly, and the referee, Tom Schlesinger, has stopped this fight, and probably that's...
After the fight, the doctors were called to render medical assistance to Rick, since his leg injury was very serious. His brother, Duke Roufus, gave an interview in which he played down Chang's ability, saying that it did not require a lot of skill to apply these blows to the leg, thereby refusing to recognize the strength of Thai boxing and low kicks in particular. All this despite the fact that the Thai had just defeated one of the best kickboxing fighters of that era.
Potentially a very serious situation. Rick Roufus just had his legs pounded there for almost 5 rounds. Kiatsongrit came back, showed tremendous courage.
5 months later, a rematch took place between Rick Roufus and Manson Gibson. The fight was spectacular, both fighters showcasing excellent techniques and making it an exciting contest. The bout went the distance, and in the end, Rick secured victory by unanimous decision. In July 1989, Rick Roufus faced Andy Mayo, whom he knocked out in the 3rd round. In the winter of 1990, Rick Roufus faced Kevin Whaley in the ring, who held a record of 11-2.
Rick's just moving around, getting off some of those flashy kicks of his. Next.
Spinning back kick. There's a spinning back fist for Roufus.
The fight begins with Roufus demonstrating superior technique and speed, frustrating Kevin with his elusive movement and his varied kicks. Kevin tries to find his rhythm, but fails to do so.
Right behind it. Whaley just falls off balance.
Good back fist by Roufus.
the hands of his opponent and then come down on him with that round kick.
There goes Whaley.
That's what Whaley is going to have to do if he wants to have a shot at this. He's going to have to get a little mean. He's going to have to get inside and not just stand out in front of him and be the... Of course, that was 72 for the first 9.
Throughout the fight, Roufus maintains control, showcasing his extensive repertoire of kicks and combinations. Whaley displays determination but is unable to inflict significant damage against Roufus's superior skills and experience.
The audience likes those kind of kicks. Left-handed spin, ducking down, and he ducks down and lands one of those kicks there, so it frustrates you. And you say, hey, hold still.
Goes down, final seconds of the round.
Here's Rick. He ducked right into that kick. You saw him bouncing around. Nice 360 round kick, reverse hook kicks. You've seen all the kicks here today.
There's a good left hook.
Nice hand combination by Roufus.
The fight goes the full 12 rounds, and Roufus dominated throughout. The judges score the bout unanimously in favor of Roufus.
Look at Rick.
Rick Roufus is crowned the new FFKA World Light Middleweight Champion, adding to his middleweight title.
2 world title fights, 2 bouts. This is great. I just one question I'd like to ask you. What do you want to do? Do you want to stay at 64 or do you want to go to 172? What do you want to do?
Well, I'm going to hold on to both titles. I'm going to see where Rick Roufus can get a better offer. You know, we're waiting for that rematch with Marek Piotrowski, the one I lost my first fight to. And I just want you to know, Marek, that was a gift. I'm back. You didn't see 110% of Rick Roufus tonight. You saw just a little bit. And I'll tell you what, I've got the confidence back, and I want you, pal.
Well, it looked like the way he was moving, he would try to catch you, but he was totally frustrated. Did you feel every time he'd throw something, you were making him miss? And it just didn't look like he was out of shape. It just looked like he was so frustrated he couldn't throw anything.
Well, in this game, I come here to hit, not get hit. That's why I have a face that's not black and blue. I can talk to you on a great note. And, the name of the game is to frustrate him. I took him out of his game plan. He tried to close the distance by staying on top of my kicks, and he found out he couldn't do that because I was just quicker than he was. And I'll tell you what, I'm determined. I'm back with a new attitude, and that attitude is to stay on top.
In the summer of 1991, the highly anticipated rematch between Rick Roufus and Marek Piotrowski took place. In their first encounter back in 1989, the judges awarded the victory to Marek, although the fight was extremely close and intense. Unfortunately, the video recording of that bout is of very poor quality, so we are unable to show it. However, this time, Roufus leaves no room for doubt. In the second round, he spectacularly ended the fight, knocking Piotrowski out with a precise left high kick. Two months later, Rick stepped into the ring for another rematch, this time against William Knorr. This fight was for the light heavyweight championship title in the ISK and PKC organizations.
JT well, and both go right to work. Knorr, the taller of the two at 6'3" on his weight. It's a hand combination, but look at that left and right to the body to Knorr by Rick Roufus. Rick is scoring pretty much at will here.
Roufus, the defending champion, dominated the fight with his powerful kicks and diverse techniques.
Knorr's courage, he has fought the best in this sport, and he's done it just on 2 and 3 weeks' notice at times. He fought Jean-Yves Thériault on 3 weeks' notice right after he came out of the hospital with surgery on his own ankle. He fought Bob Thurman on 2 days. Waste that energy. You got to make contact and score some points. Keep in mind, we're over 6,000. It certainly doesn't hurt your techniques. But there's a little something more in technique from Rick Roufus. There's a big heart in there. Yeah.
Knorr struggled with fatigue and missed the required number of kicks in 4 rounds. Therefore, decided not to continue the match.
Well, hopefully we can meet at an in-between weight at 175. I just want Jean-Yves to know I'm waiting, I'm begging. if you'd stop fighting these would-be opponents and fight the real deal, hey, we'll both be rich and we'll be happy in the end. And for another guy that's fighting tonight, Dennis Alexio, I'm on my way up. As soon as I fight Thériault, you're next, buddy.
In December 1991, Rick Roufus stepped into the ring against Dutch kickboxer Rob Kamman. The fight took place at Paris-Bercy in front of 15,000 spectators.
Pantalon blanc. Et donc il va falloir qu'il s'adapte à ça, alors que et vous avez entendu les applaudissements, plus efficaces qu'à coup de poing, tu vois.
Kaman, le Viking, très fier, c'est excelle. Oui, même ses coups.
Il est quand même très dangereux avec ses bien concentré sur la défense, sur les points, et c'est pour ça qu'il a été surpris.
C'est impossible de savoir la destination.
Roufus dominated the match with his varied technique and power, while Kamman tried to find the optimal distance for his attacks, but often found himself in awkward positions due to Roufus's dynamic movement.
Et Roufus reprend la direction avec encore ce point gauche.
Déjà, il montre des velléités en boxe anglaise. Il enchaîne impeccablement corps face. Kaman boxe presque chez lui ce soir. Interdit en France puisqu'on risque
sur le béquille, on dirait, au foot. Interdit donc là ce soir.
Absolument. Et là, il se retrouve acculé contre les cordes. Kaman, il a peut-être tort de rester comme ça, il devrait tourner.
Ouais, je crois qu'il a...
The bout concluded with Roufus retaining his World Championship title, but the match was later declared a no contest after Kamman's corner protested that only 1 minute had been fought in the fourth round, a round that could have been critical to Kamman as he had hurt his opponent. As a result, he still retained the ISKA full contact light heavyweight world title. November 1992, two legends met in the ring. Rick Roufus against Ernesto Hoost.
But you often find kickboxers switch around. In 87, lost on points though, and actually acquitted himself. Being Kamman's in 88. That was for the Thai Boxing European Championship.
In the early rounds, Roufus showcased his boxing superiority, while Hoost tried to use his height to keep him at a distance.
And that was a World Championship win as well. He won the FFKA light middleweight title. Well, if you're not a fan of kickboxing, nice spinning back kick. Oh, and look at that. Nice spinning back kick in close from Roufus, not too easy to land.
Midway through the fight, Hoost became more aggressive with his attacks. Roufus appeared fatigued, but was still able to counter effectively.
He really does fancy this. Oh, nice punches from... knees. And as expected, a barnstorming round from Roufus.
In the final rounds, both fighters showed signs of exhaustion, but continued to battle actively. Roufus was more active in the last round, likely securing his victory.
Well, now, big finish coming in from Roufus. Been a good one to watch this. It looks like the ISKA light heavyweight title is safe in the hands of the American.
He retained his ISKA light heavyweight world championship title by defeating Ernesto Hoost on points.
Well, Roufus retains his title. That was interesting. And I've got that 6 rounds to 3 and 3.
1 month later, Rick Roufus faced Jersey Long in the ring for the light heavyweight world championship title.
Known for his amazing jumping techniques.
Oh, speaking of that, a round kick to the head to Long. He's got him trapped on the ropes and won't let him off.
He's teeing off with the punches as well, and Long clinches to get out of trouble. A spinning back kiss.
In his hands, which is unusual. He's equally on all.
You're not counting that as a knockdown, more of a shove. Jersey Long looks like he has really practiced on using that.
Left hand's got Long in trouble, and down he goes in round 2. Long is up, but he is woozy. Here comes the Jet in on top of him again. He got him with the right hand. Can he do it again? The left hand sends it.
Really not standing up to the punching power.
So this can go as long as the referee would like to continue it here with 2 knockdowns already.
Oh, there's a good punch. Oh, that was that axe kick that Roufus just come that we haven't seen tonight also.
45 seconds to go as Roufus pounds away in this second round of the world title fight.
Now the axe kick is unusual in fighting. It comes straight, very deceiving if you could do it properly.
Good hand combination by Roufus. You see the quickness of the Jet Roufus. Long comes back with a
45 degrees backwards and then spun.
The fight lasted 5 rounds, with Roufus dominating throughout, sending Long to the canvas 3 times. Ultimately, Long refused to continue in the 5th round, giving Roufus the victory by TKO.
And Jersey Long says, I don't want any more. This fight is over in round number 5.
There's the heart that Rick talked about. He said,
in March 1993, Roufus faced Luc Verheye, who had a record of 46-1.
C'est quelqu'un qui rentre, qui est très très dur à de la technique, du style, l'américain est plus complet.
Oh, il va pas falloir faire d'erreur sur le ring de Levallois ce soir.
Roufus demonstrated his superiority in the early rounds, utilizing his outstanding kickboxing skills. In the 4th round, Roufus ended the fight with a powerful combination that concluded with a body shot. Verheye was unable to get up after the count, and Roufus successfully defended his ISKA Light Heavyweight World Championship title. 2 months later, Rick Roufus and Jozef Warchol met in the ring to fight for the ISKA World Light Heavyweight Championship.
Warchol is not afraid to stand and mix it with Roufus. And full marks to him. A lot of Roufus' opponents, of course, are beaten before they get...
Rick Roufus, the younger and seemingly more powerful fighter, dominates the match from the start.
Very acrobatic, athletic individual as well, Roufus, and going back there, avoiding this attack. Oh, and that was quite spectacular from Warchol. Shame didn't come off for him. Well, you get the impression that Roufus is allowing Warchol to get away with that. Nice. That's it. He's a good fighter. It's a shame he didn't box professionally, because we are desperately in need of a few good light heavyweights or cruisers. And take your hat off to Warchol. He's really having a good go here.
Despite Warhol's determination, he struggles to match Roufus's skill and power. The fight ends in the 3rd round when Roufus knocks down Warchol and the referee stops the fight, despite Warhol's desire to continue.
And we don't see particularly good use of the uppercut in this sport, but Roufus is doing everything so well. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it. The referee has stopped it, in fact, so superb win.
January 1994, Rick Roufus faced Michael McDonald in their first encounter. The fight began, and Roufus quickly knocked out McDonald in the middle of the 1st round with a powerful combination of strikes.
Clark, the third man in the ring, will make it very abundantly clear he is in control of this one.
A month later, the rematch between Rick Roufus and Rob Kamman took place. This fight served as a rematch, and Roufus had already defeated Kamman in 1991. The bout was held under ISKA full contact rules without low kicks, which posed significant challenges to Kamman. The event garnered massive interest, drawing 12,000 spectators. Roufus, the reigning world champion, confidently showcased his skills, while Kamman appeared nervous and uncomfortable under the restricted rules. The fight was brief, lasting less than 2 rounds, ending with Roufus spectacularly knocking out his opponent with a double left hook. In March 1994, Rick Roufus stepped into the ring against Jean-Yves Thériault.
We're here. We're delighted you have joined us, and we're underway. Solid. Now, do you anticipate any changes in? A push by Thériault.
Middle of a kick or in the middle of a punch.
And by the southpaw.
Made it difficult to throw more than one kick at a time.
Scheduled 12-rounder. Roufus, who had boldly predicted a first round, and Thériault.
Well, I would have called that a knockdown.
I would have too.
It looked like a straight left hand caught him.
And Roufus comes.
He's trying to finish him off.
A knockdown.
He's trying to finish Thériault off.
Thériault started the fight confidently, controlling the early rounds and even knocking Roufus down in the fourth.
Roufus battling back on. He thought should be going back early in this fight when Thériault went down in the corner. But
old man be able to go 12 rounds like this. They're not having the effect that Roufus needs to put on his punches. He does not have the power to back shot. I think that's what he needs to do to keep Thériault off of him.
Roufus.
However, in the second half of the bout, the reigning champion rallied, showcasing resilience and technical skill, which allowed him to turn the tide and retain his title.
The light heavyweight champion of the world, Rick the Jet Roufus.
Where do you go from here? You beat the legend, one of your childhood idols. What's next for you besides a little bit of a rest?
I think it's time for me to move out. I've been in this division about 3-4 years. I think it's time for me to move up to heavyweight, take on the ultimate Mike Tyson of kickboxing, and it's Dennis the Terminator. Alexio.
November 1998, the highly anticipated rematch between Rick Roufus and Ernesto Hoost took place. For this fight, Roufus moved up to a higher weight class, becoming bigger and more muscular. At the start, Hoost appeared relaxed and confidently used high kicks, while Roufus suffered a cut below his eye, affecting his vision.
Ah, et voilà, par contre, Roufus, une véritable grêle de coups. Il les prend sur le bras gauche et il a l'avant-bras qui commence à gonfler.
Il a su bloquer et il sait maintenant contre-attaquer. Il vient de toucher. Il a touché Hoost.
With each round, Hoost gained the upper hand thanks to his technical skill and physical sharpness. Roufus grew increasingly fatigued and slower.
Et Hoost qui touche, il touche avec les poings, il touche avec les kicks.
Allez, il va le compter.
Et le gong arrive à point nommé. Il y a toujours une garde bien hermétique.
In the 11th round, Hoost ended the fight decisively, delivering a spectacular high kick that knocked out Roufus. Roufus fell, requiring time to recover.
Quel chaos. C'est vrai que ça suivait une pression de 7 à 8 minutes qui était très très forte sur Roufus, mais quel high kick, quel...
March 1995, Rick Roufus and Lavelle Robinson faced off in the ring. Rick Roufus, a former ISKA light heavyweight champion, now competing as a heavyweight, dominates the match from the start. In the first round, Roufus staggers Robinson with a left uppercut.
Left uppercut by Roufus staggered Robinson.
Roufus's sharp strikes and aggressive style suggest that Robinson might not be able to withstand the full fight. In the third round, Roufus delivers a powerful high kick that knocked Robinson off his feet. The fight ended with Roufus securing a victory by knockout 30 seconds into the third round, marking the 29th knockout of his career.
Just grazed the right glove of Robinson and pounded it.
The summer of 1996, Rick Roufus faced the strong and dangerous Igor Sharapov in the ring. This fight was a significant test for Roufus, who was eager to compete against the top light heavyweights. Scheduled for 12 rounds, the bout ended in the 5th round when Sharapov was forced to withdraw due to an elbow injury. September 1997, the K1 Grand Prix tournament. Rick Roufus stepped into the ring against Jerome Le Banner, the legendary French heavyweight renowned for his explosive power, aggressive style, and devastating strikes. The matchup was a classic confrontation of speed and technicality versus raw power and aggression. Le Banner's size and power advantage were notable, and he was a true heavyweight, while Roufus was moving up to face larger opponents. Rick Roufus started the fight confidently, taking control in the first round and showcasing excellent hand technique. In the second round, he managed to knock Jerome Le Banner down, but the round ended before Roufus could capitalize on his momentum. In the third round, Le Banner unleashed his aggression, knocking Roufus down. Rick got back up and continued the fight, but absorbed a series of heavy blows, prompting the referee to stop the fight. In 1998, at the K1 USA Grand Prix tournament, Rick Roufus returned to the ring, this time facing Mexican fighter Pedro Fernandez. Over 4,500 spectators gathered at the Mirage Hotel to witness the bout. In the second round, Roufus delivered a precise left hook that proved decisive. Fernandez was knocked out and Roufus secured a spectacular victory. Summer 1998, Rick Roufus stepped into the ring against seasoned veteran Jerome Turcan, who had 77 fights under his belt at the time. In the very first round, Roufus knocked Turcan down with a powerful left high kick. Turcan got back up and continued to fight. But in the second round, Roufus intensified his attacks and knocked him out. A month later, Rick Roufus stepped into the ring against Francisco Filho. The bout began with an exchange of low kicks and high kicks, showcasing a tense and competitive battle. In the third round, Filho landed a powerful low kick that sent Roufus to the canvas. The referee stopped the fight, declaring Francisco the winner. A year after his loss to Francisco Thériault, Rick Roufus returned to the ring to face Stan Longinaitis, who had boldly claimed he would defeat Roufus quickly. The fight was for the IKF World Super Heavyweight Championship under international rules.
The pacing of this fight through three has been that he will tend to cut.
In the fifth round, Roufus landed a powerful high kick that staggered Longinaitis, making a turning point in the match.
He'll try and tie Roufus up. Roufus on the assault once more. Stan in trouble here in round 5.
As the intensity of the fight grew, Roufus confidently took control.
I think he was stunned by that hook. Rick together. Rick Roufus is coming out with a vengeance. He really wants to get this guy out. Longinaitis will try and counter off the ropes. Goes to the inside of the thigh. Longinaitis caught with the uppercut.
In the ninth round, Longinaitis suffered a fractured right ankle. Despite his attempt to continue, the medical team deemed him unfit to proceed, leading to the fight being stopped. Roufus was declared a winner, claiming the championship title.
Two great warriors, look at that.
March 2000, Rick Roufus faced off against French fighter Cyril Diabaté, who held an impressive record of 38-5 with 28 knockouts. Diabaté's significant size advantage posed a challenge for Roufus. The fight was highly entertaining, with both fighters showcasing their skills. However, in the third round, Roufus suffered a knee injury that prevented him from continuing. As a result, the fight was stopped before the fourth round, awarding Diabaté the victory. May 2003, Rick Roufus faced Brazilian fighter Eduardo Maiorino, who entered the ring with an impressive record of 18-1. From the outset, Roufus showcased his aggressive approach, leveraging his signature left strikes to dominate the match. Roufus sent Maiorino to the canvas twice, and after the second knockdown, Maiorino was unable to recover. The referee intervened, stopping the fight, declaring a decisive victory for Roufus. March of the following year, Rick Roufus stepped into the ring against Maurice Smith. Roufus displayed an effective strategy in the first round, combining agility with precise strikes, while Smith struggled to establish his range. The second round proved pivotal when Roufus landed a powerful left hook, sending Smith to the canvas in a rare knockdown for the veteran. Though Smith managed to get back on his feet, the moment heavily influenced the scoring, leaving Smith in need of a knockout to secure victory. In the third round, Roufus confidently maintained control, preventing Smith from delivering any decisive blows. The fight concluded with Roufus earning a unanimous decision victory, further solidifying his legacy. On the same evening, in the final, Rick Roufus faced Carter Williams, who boasted a record of 30-5, with 22 wins by knockout. The fight barely started before Roufus found himself on the canvas from an early knockdown. He managed to get back up and continue, but just 2 minutes later, Williams landed another devastating blow, sending Roufus to the canvas again and securing a knockout victory. Two months later, Rick Roufus stepped into the ring against Jeff Forn. The first round was evenly matched, with both fighters showing skill and determination. However, in the following rounds, Roufus began to dominate, employing a mix of high kicks and low kicks to keep Ford on the defensive. In the end, the judges awarded a unanimous decision victory to Roufus, reflecting his technical superiority and strategic approach. August 2004. Rick Roufus faced off against the massive Akebono in a highly anticipated bout. The weight difference between the two fighters was an astounding 121 kilograms, or 268 pounds. Despite his aggressive stance and his physical appearance, Akebono struggled to counter Roufus's precise strikes and tactical footwork. Throughout the match, Roufus's experience and skill shone through, especially in the third round where Akebono attempted to maintain a forward stance. In 2005, Rick faced Musashi, a two-time K1 World Grand Prix finalist from Japan. Musashi dominated the fight with effective leg kicks, especially targeting Roufus's right leg, which showed visible damage by the second round.
It's so tough to get inside on Rick. Well, Musashi has a good cushion. You gotta want. That's exactly what Rick needs to do, is because he does now is go to his jab and work from there. I think he's trying to...
Despite Roufus's boxing experience and occasional successful punches, he struggled to counter Musashi's strategy. The fight ended in a split decision victory for Musashi. In the fall of 2006, Rick Roufus faced 10-time European world champion Gary Turner in a 4-round bout under modified kickboxing rules, allowing leg kicks. Turner, with experience in judo and K1, stepped in on just 10 days' notice. The match was filled with intense exchanges, as both heavyweights displayed impressive power and movement.
That's a great event already. Oh man, intense look on the fighters' faces. A left scores from Turner. They grab.
After 4 rounds of closely contested action, the fight concluded in a majority draw, with 2 judges scoring it 38-38. A few months later, Rick Roufus entered the ring against 6-time world champion from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA, Jean-Yves. The fight ends dramatically, with Roufus executing a devastating roundhouse kick that knocks out Jean-Yves in the first round. September 2012, Rick Roufus entered the ring against Mighty Mo at the Los Angeles Sports Arena. Rick Roufus is 46 years old and demonstrated superior technical skills and footwork through the match. The fight was characterized by high-level exchanges, with Roufus employing effective movement and striking combinations, while Mighty Mo maintained his dangerous knockout power. The match concluded with Roufus winning by split decision, earning him advancement to the World Grand Prix Final 16 in Tokyo, Japan. There he fought James Wilson, and the fight ended in a draw. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more stories about the legends in the past. See you next time in the ring.